Hi there, Anna. So I'm really happy to see that you decided to sign up for the essay package. That's great. I know your exam is coming up in about a week or so, so let's not waste any time. Let's take a look at what you wrote. It's really helpful if you can, I'm just going to click on it. I'm glad that you sent the link. If you can include the image, it's even better, but that's all right. We'll just look at it like this because then I have to do stuff like this and expand it. Anyway, let's just take a look at what you wrote, and I'll refer to the graph as necessary. So, first of all, okay, the given chart illustrates and compares the 6 main agricultural with 1G products in France in 2017. At first glance, it is clear. Careful, you want to use more formal language here, so no contractions. You would have needed an apostrophe anyway, but this should be, it is clear that the major, one thing I want to talk about right away is the order of adjectives. You want to put the number first, okay? There's a whole rule about this. I advise you to look it up, order of adjectives in English, and you never usually need to maybe put more than 3 or 4 adjectives together, but it is important to know what this order is, because when it's wrong, you definitely know it, and a native speaker definitely feels like, ooh, that's awkward. So all of a sudden I see right away that you did it here, so this should be 6 main, and then this too should be 4 major, so the number comes first. All right, so the 4 major products are cotton, sugar, wheat, and barley, whereas rice and corn were produced the least in that given year. Perfect. France, this is a little strange here, France harvesting of corn. You could have said France's, apostrophe S, harvest of corn was about 1/3 of all the crops in 2017, whereas sugar and, careful with your typing, whereas sugar and wheat were about 1/5 of that. You want to say each, okay? At 21.9 and 20. That doesn't make sense. Okay, at 20.4 respectively. All right, the reason why I hesitated is I was trying to understand your math. You said we're about 1/5 of that. So when you said that, I thought that you were talking about this 1/3, so that these were about 1/5 of the already 1/3, because you used this of that. So this is just a great example about how pronouns can really betray you and not do what you want them to do. So they don't exactly refer to what you think they are referring to. So let's see if we could have come up with a different way of saying this that would have made it more clear. France's harvest of cotton was about 1/3 of all the crops in 2017, whereas sugar and wheat were about 1/5 each of the total crops at 21.9 and 20.4 respectively. I think that works. French farmers cultivated and harvested barley to a lesser degree compared to the aforementioned crops at 18%. In short, cotton made up 1/3, whilst the other 3 made up. You said made up already, though. Made up and made up. You could have said comprised, maybe, just below 2/3. Okay, just below 2/3. Yeah, I guess that's true, isn't it? Okay, fine. So let's see, what does it make up? So if this is 22%, it's about 60%. Okay, yeah, so that's correct. I'm sorry, just checking your math. You're actually you're correct, so that's fine. Okay. Let's see. Fine. On the other hand, the French capital here, capital F, agriculture with 1G, the French agriculture produced small amounts of rice and corn in 2017. This is strange. You could have just gotten rid of the here. So, on the other hand, French agriculture produced small amounts of rice and corn in 2017. Rice production was almost double of that for corn. Well, there's a better way of saying this. Was almost double that of corn. Okay, at 3.5 and 1.7% respectively, both combined. Okay, here you wanted to say both figures combined, because it definitely feels like a word is missing. So both figures combined represent only 1/7 of France's production of cotton, or about a quarter of any of the remaining products. Okay. Okay, so I thought that you did great in terms of task achievement. This is not an easy one to do because there's, as you noticed and as you mentioned in your email, there's very little information, right? There's only 7 things to talk about, so you really have to extend. But I think the way you extended was great. Okay, you made a lot of really important connections here, like saying that it was 1/7 of this. You were saying that this was double of this. I even like what you did here. It took me a while to get my head kind of around it, but once I did, I was like, oh wow, yeah, this is absolutely correct. So I think that the way you extended and expanded your answer was great. What I think the weak area of this was a little bit the grammar and a little bit the vocabulary. Nothing nothing that creates incoherence, nothing that creates any real major problems, but some of the mistakes, primarily in terms of grammar, were consistent enough to possibly keep you getting that 7. Because if you noticed, I mean, just look at how many, how often in these sentences I had to make a correction. Now, that's one of the things that the examiners are looking for. So, like how accurate is your language? I mean, some of the grammar was very, very good, but there were enough problems so that you could say that a high percentage of your sentences had some inaccuracy. Okay, so if I'm finding mistakes in just about every sentence, then that means that it's not really, 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 really accurate. All right, so that's something that I want you to be aware of. That's something I want you to watch out for. It was some of those little things like little grammatical, little structural words. And those are the ones that I want you to look at, okay? And some of these little expressions, which I tried to correct along the way. All right, we spent a lot of time on that, so I want to move into this one about people staying in the same job for their entire life. To what extent do you agree or disagree that they should do one or the other? Okay. Choosing a field to be employed in might be one of the toughest decisions that we make throughout our lives. Critics argue that changing career helps employees to attain different experience. However, careful with your typing. Others, myself included, believe that keeping up with the same field is more beneficial. In this essay, I will discuss both views and I will justify my aforementioned opinion. Beautiful. On the one hand, people who support the notion that change is good reckon that this may expand, careful there's no S because this is a modal verb, it has to be bare infinitive, one's horizons. There is actually some evidence-based reasoning for that, which had been illustrated in the Journal of Neurosciences. The article published in 2009 showed that people who had multiple jobs during their life had a better ability to tackle challenges than those who had a single profession. However, the same study examined the depth of experience in each group, no S here, and found out that those who remained in the same profession had done better in their field compared to the other group. Lovely. What might have been nicer is just having a wrap-up sentence. So just sort of to conclude what this paragraph was about. And it's clear to me that it was about, so despite the benefits of this, there are still more benefits of staying in the same job throughout your career. All right, moving on. On the other hand, concentration, I don't know about this word, concentration on the same job, that's a little strange. I think you mean something else here, although it's not coming to me, the word that you want. On the other hand, how about dedication to the same job? Okay, maybe that's a better word. Well, why don't we try it? On the other hand, dedication to the same job for a here, long time, will lead to significant collective experience. I reckon, like many others, you know what? Let's avoid I reckon. I think I saw you write it somewhere else. Let's get rid of it. It feels, first of all, really old-fashioned. It feels rather informal. So why don't we try to write it with the sentence without it? Okay. Um, in fact, I would say that we should kind of rephrase this. It will still sound like you're expressing your opinion. It will still sound strong, but that's what we want. We want to sound strong, like there's no question about this. Okay, I reckon, like I said, besides it being old-fashioned and informal, just sounds like it's not really particularly convincing. So let's get rid of it. I want to try this again, okay? So, on the other hand, dedication to the same job for a long time will lead to significant collective experience. All right, I'm going to change some more things here as well, okay? This is truly the best way to become a professional in one's field. All right, now you're probably wondering why I changed this around. Well, the reason is because apart from the word reckon, you had something else here that felt really informal. The way to go. This is an idiomatic expression, and you want to avoid this kind of language in your task too, because it's informal. This is how we speak, but this is certainly not how we write in an academic setting. Okay, the essay should have a more academic feel to it, so you want to avoid it and maybe choose something more like what I said. Okay, so this is clearly the best way for one to become a professional in one's chosen field, something like that. Take doctors, for example. The more they stay in their specialty, the more knowledge and skills they gain. If they change their profession, they would be less efficient treating patients. Thus, we would see catastrophic outcomes. Get rid of this A. Other than that, it's a great sentence. You did a lot of nice things. You had a nice conditional here. It was good. In short, remain for more gain. Okay, that's nice. Although I would have liked to see a little bit more in this paragraph. I think you could have said a little more. You had this one example here. There's something that gives me a feeling that there was more that could have been said here. Are there any other reasons why staying in the same position can be more beneficial in the same job for your entire life? Can you think of any other reasons? So I understand this remain more for more gain, but I'm wondering if there was anything else that you could have added. It just felt like I wanted more, a little more there. But still it was good, okay? So to sum up, although changing multiple careers could be an eye-opener 1P to other fields, I think that being consistent with an E within the same field is no doubt careful, what happened with your grammar? Being consistent within the same field no doubt creates ES confident professionals. Okay. And that fixes it. You really want to be careful with mistakes in your introduction and your conclusion. This is obviously your first impression and, of course, the last impression you're leaving with the examiner with. So you want this to be as accurate as possible. I thought you did a really nice job. I think that the area, what did I tell you? I told you that I thought you use some informal words, informal language. I want you to be careful with that. I want you to use more higher level vocabulary and more formal vocabulary, okay? There was some decent vocabulary. Like I said, though, I would have liked to see a little more high level language. Support the notion is good. There's that word reckon again. Yeah, evidence-based reasoning was good. Tackle challenges was good. Let's see. Catastrophic outcomes was good. So some of it was really good. I think there was some of it that could have been even better. All right. For example, had done better in their field. Well, what does that mean to do better in their field? Maybe they climbed up the ladder better, maybe they achieved higher higher positions, positions of higher status, positions of higher responsibility and authority. Okay, so some of these other things I think could have been improved. Overall, though, it was a great essay. Okay, you're doing really well. So I hope that this feedback today is helpful. And let's see more work. Okay, I'll be waiting. So good luck on your next set.